You can make a list of 100 things to do to achieve ESG excellence, but it doesn't have to be that complicated. I want to look at 5 key things that are really important. We'll go through them in detail, but just to start, ESG is more than an ESG report. Don't forget that. If you're only doing ESG to do an ESG report, stop and think again. You're missing a lot of value. And value is what ESG is about. It's all about value. It's not a compliance exercise. Communication is so key for achieving ESG excellence. And simplicity. Avoid complexity. The more complex you get, the more difficult it is, the more costly it is, and the less chance you will actually be excellent. Focus on value and stakeholders. If you keep your focus on value and stakeholders, you're going to be a long way forward. So remember, ESG is much more than just a report. Many of you begin your ESG journey because you feel the need to create an ESG report. Either you've been told you need one or you're thinking you need one. For some reason, you think you need an ESG report. And an ESG report can be very important for your business, whether it's for financing, whether it's for regulatory reasons or whatever. But don't limit your ESG focus to just the report. The report is communicating about your ESG journey, but your journey is much more than the report. It's important to embrace a holistic and strategic approach to ESG management and engagement. Focus on value. ESG is really about value and risk mitigation. It's not a compliance exercise. Sure, you may need to do some ESG activities because of compliance. It may be some regulatory requirement. It may be a compliance for your financing. It may be some other reason. But there is much more to it than that. What's key is to focus on value. Know and identify your ESG value propositions. Why are you engaging in ESG? What is the fundamental reason you're engaging in ESG? And for every one of your material ESG issues, why are you engaging in that issue? Why is that issue important to you? Why is it important to society and stakeholders? Why is it important to government? Those are your value propositions. And when you answer those why questions, when you identify that, you're going to be so much further ahead because you will understand better where your value lies, where your risk mitigation comes from. If you only focus on compliance and reporting, you're really going to limit value and inhibit success. Communication is really key. Your ESG story, your ESG impacts, sure, they'll be captured in your report, but that's only one part of it. ESG reports are actually only a small part of your overall ESG communications picture. Focus on your stakeholders. Your ESG report may deliver information to some stakeholders in a way that they want it and can receive it, and that's important. But there are many other stakeholders that are affected by your ESG. They're affected by the material issues in your ESG report. Many of them won't be reading your report. So it's up to you to figure out how to communicate with them. Communicate the value and impact of your ESG to them. Tailor your messaging so it reaches them and package it, whether it's in newsletters, whether it's in posters, whether it's in advertising, whether it's in handouts, whether it's in community meetings. Make sure that they're getting the information that they need so that they can understand your ESG impacts as it relates to them. It's going to be a huge boost to your stakeholder engagement and communications. Your ESG communication should be diverse. It should include data and stories, pictures and videos and other elements, and ensure you have a wide reach. Deliver your message in ways that reach affected stakeholders with information that is meaningful to them, information that relates to how they are affected by your ESG. Avoid complexity. Keep your reporting frameworks and all other aspects of your ESG journey as simple as possible. Unless it's absolutely essential, avoid complex frameworks and reporting guidelines. Focus on value creation and risk mitigation. These are the two fundamental components of every bit of ESG activity: value creation and risk mitigation. For every material ESG issue or action you're taking, ask the question, what is the value creation? What is the risk mitigation? Keep it simple and prioritize stakeholder value. When you look at value creation for the business, but also look at value creation for your stakeholders. And that is going to tell you what they want to know. That's going to tell you how your material ESG issues are affecting them, and that's what you're going to want to communicate to them. Every one of your material ESG issues should be understood in terms of value and risk. Value and risk for your business, value and risk for stakeholders. Understand your stakeholder interests and the value propositions for them. You should have a very specific value proposition for stakeholders for each material ESG issue. Some may affect different groups of stakeholders. Maybe you'll have more value propositions, but know the value link between material ESG issues and your stakeholders. Align your metrics with your impact. Align your ESG metrics with your business, stakeholder, and environmental impact and the value and risk issues associated with them. Make sure your metrics cover those issues. Don't get overly complicated with your metrics. And above all, when you have all this, communicate. Make sure that the stakeholders that are affected by your ESG issues are understanding what the impact is, what the metrics is. Many of them won't read your report. That's fine. It's up to you to communicate your ESG impact with them. So those are the 5 key things for achieving ESG excellence. It's not overly technical. The technical part is important, but it's not as important as dealing with these 5 issues. Remember, ESG is more than an ESG report. ESG is about value. It's about value and risk mitigation. It's far more than a compliance exercise. Effective communications is key. Your report, your ESG report, is only a small component of your communication. Share your ESG story to maximize its value. Avoid complexity. Keep your reporting frameworks and other aspects of your ESG program as simple as possible. Keep them simple. If you need to have a complex report, if you need to meet a reporting guideline for compliance purposes, by all means meet it. Don't move away from that, but don't go and embrace a complex report or framework unless you need to. And for everything you do, focus on value and stakeholders. Align metrics with business, stakeholder, and environmental impact and interests, and communicate that. These 5 steps, these 5 elements will help you to achieve ESG excellence.
At the CSR-ESG Institute, we're here to help you do more, be more, and achieve more. Our goal is to make your business stronger, better, more resilient, and more competitive, at the same time as you create social value and support the environment and ecosystems. For more information on how our team can support you, visit us at csrtraininginstitute.com or email our president and founder, Wayne Dunn, directly at wayne@csrtraininginstitute.com. Join us and create value and impact where business meets community.